what they're going to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to have something that there's certain things that you can get away with, but there's certain things you shouldn't mess with. That's for sure. Now you mentioned earlier about dating yourself. I don't know, Dan. You were 18 years old kicking butt on the IRS, from what I hear.
Well, that's true, but that's true, but that's because I didn't know what I was doing.
Tell us
I,
about that.
I got into this business when I was just a kid. My father had a small business in our hometown of St. Paul, Minnesota, and my dad was the quintessential entrepreneurial addict. He bounced from one get rich quick scheme to another, chase this, chase that, all kinds of things. That whole subject, that's a whole book in and of itself. But his primary operation that he started when he was a teenager was a printing business, a commercial printing business. And he had, by the time I was 10, 12, 13 years old, he had a pretty doggone good operation in downtown St. Paul with a number of employees. Well, he got behind on his employees withholding taxes. Guess what, Tom? That problem that we're talking about affecting so many small businesses got my dad sideways with the IRS
Wow.
in the early 1970s. And one of the things he tried to do to fix the problem was to convert these people to contractors. But of course, that didn't work either, just made matters worse. So all of this stuff I grew up with, right? The things we're talking about here in the last 10 minutes, I grew up with these problems. Well, by 1974, he owed the IRS a bunch of money and they closed his shop down. They padlocked his doors and they auctioned the equipment off for a couple cents on the dollar. And then in 1977, 78, I guess it was, they turned their attention to our family home.
Oh boy.
And they tried to seize and sell it for the back tax liability. And that's when I got started. I remember coming home one day and my mom was sitting at the kitchen table and she hands me this envelope from the IRS and she says, "What do you make of this?" And I read it and I said, "Well, it looks like they're going to try to seize the house." And she said, "What do we do?" And of course, I had no idea what to do. I was just a kid, about 18 years old. What I did do, Tom, is I went over to the local law library, the law school over on the other side of St. Paul. I